Ladies and gentlemen, may I in a special way welcome again our guest of honor, Honorable Justice John Katsala, Judge of the High Court of Malawi, Commercial Division. May I also welcome the President of the Malawi Law Society, Mr. Barton Muhango. We welcome in a special way the Honorable the Attorney General, Kaleke Kapale, SC. We also welcome our special guest from the US under the AGA-Africa organization. We have several board members and others that will be presenting papers today. We are in the opening ceremony or session of the conference, and within this session we will have remarks by the President, a speech by the Attorney General, another speech by the AGA, and we will request our guest of honor to give us the keynote speech. May I request one of us to open the meeting for us, please, with a prayer. Please be very pleasant this morning. A volunteer, please.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time. We never take for granted the life you've given us, the privileges you've given us. When so many legal minds come together, Lord, it is a privilege. We pray may you guide us so that everything we do should be for the best of the people of Malawi. We pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Once again, thank you very much. May I also recognize a number of senior counsels who are here with us. We recognize Senior Counsel Sabjan, Senior Counsel Alan Jinora. We recognize Honorable Devenu, Honorable Muhango, and many others. We will not be able to list them one by one, but we get to know each other later. We also appreciate the presence of all of us as members of the Law Society. With the blessings that we have received, we will start our program in earnest. May I invite the President, Chairperson of the Malawi Law Society, Mr. Barton Muhango, to give us his welcome remarks, please. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for Mr. Muhango.
Good morning, everyone. The guest of honor, Your Lordship, Justice Katsala, Judge in charge of the High Court, Commercial Division, Atlanta, the head of the bar, Honorable the Attorney General of Malawi, Mr. Kaleke Kapale, SC, the representative of Attorney Mr. Marcus Green, board member of the Attorney General's Alliance Africa, and all esteemed members from the Attorney General's Alliance Africa, the Vice President, the Honorary Secretary, the Treasurer, the chapter representatives, and all members of the Executive Committee of the Malawi Law Society, all senior counsel and other senior members present, the representatives of all our proud sponsors. We have National Bank, Prime Insurance Company, and my banks, all former chairpersons of the Malawi Law Society. There are too many of you, I can't mention one by one. Distinguished presenters, members of the press, distinguished invited guests, learned colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again. It gives me great pleasure that I should welcome you all to this auspicious year conference of the Malawi Law Society that precedes the annual general meeting that's taking place tomorrow. Maybe before I proceed, ladies and colleagues, allow me to pause just a little bit. It will be in vain to start this conference without reflecting and remembering our brothers who departed in the last year and very recently, just 2 weeks ago. Ladies and colleagues, this year has indeed been very bad to us as a profession. You remember that in March 2019 we lost Senior Counsel Mangochi Mr. Shano was at this conference last year elected a member of the Relations Committee. We lost Counsel Edward Bazantini. We lost Counsel Joel Potter. We lost Counsel Dr. Chwara Chipeta. And that, as if that was not enough, we lost Mr. Peter Chisamba. We also lost Gilly Makaria, if you remember, he was a registrar at the IRC. So that has been utterly devastating to us. If they will allow me, my dear colleagues, senior members, my lord, that we can stand in a moment of silence to remember our colleagues. Thank you very much. May their souls rest in peace. Warm welcome to all of you, and especially our guests of honor, the Judge, Honorable Justice Katana. Please accept our gratitude as the executive committee for accepting to grace this conference. It is highly befitting that your Lordship is part of this conference whose theme is contemporary issues in legal practice. It is an undeniable fact of our times that the nature of practice of law has significantly transformed over the years, and very much so recently with the changes in the civil procedure rules. At the very same time, the nature of the legal profession itself has also changed in many aspects with the introduction of the new regulatory framework. And also, if you consider the growing number of lawyers in Malawi. With these things in mind, we decided that the theme for this year should be contemporary issues in legal practice. My Lord, we couldn't have looked beyond you when we are considering the right person to speak on these matters, especially when we observe your countless pronouncements, my Lord, that you make on matters of procedure and conduct of members of the bar. On behalf of Malawi Law Society, I thank you very much for accepting to come to bless this occasion. Let me also extend a warm welcome to our partners from the United States of America, and in particular the representative of Mr. Marcus Green. We expected to receive Mr. Marcus Green, the attorney, who is a board member of the Attorney General's Alliance Africa, based in Kenya, but he couldn't make it. But we have the team of presenters from the United States, in the name of Mr. Sean Khan and Stephen Khan, and also Mrs. Adria Andreshenko. I'm told that in place of Attorney Marcus Khan, who didn't make it, Ms. Gift Chikwagwa, who is a country representative in Malawi of AGA, will deliver his remarks. We do not take your presence here for granted, our colleagues from the United States of America. I want to welcome you to Malawi, the home heart of Africa. We hope you are already able to see and appreciate that members of the bar here are very warming, especially if you meet them at the bar. Welcome to Malawi. We invite you to enjoy the sample of our fish coming straight from the lake, which is the only lake with fresh waters in this part of the world. Allow me to report to you our guests from the AGA at this moment, that Gift Chikwagwa, who I've just mentioned, your representative to Malawi, has been very instrumental in facilitating this function. She played a very key role when we also signed the MOU with our partners in April 2019. In short, she is a true representative of AGA, and you are well represented in Malawi. My Lord, our guests of honor, and learned colleagues, it has now become our tradition that we meet here every year in this very conference to discuss and reflect on matters that affect us as lawyers and our nation in general. It would be a fair moment, I think, to say that even though that has been a tradition, the annual General Conference is slowly transforming and bearing a new shape. I would say that it is now becoming closer to what we can call or designate it as an international conference. The increased number of participants over the years and the mode of operation bears testament to that. My executive committee has attempted to build on the success of the 2019 AGM under the leadership of Mr. Alfred Majamanda to structure this year's conference to the standards that we can all be proud of. And in that so, we can be proud to be associated with our society. For the first time in our history, we hope to successfully execute a multi-stream conference, giving our members a wide range of choices of topics that they can have for discussion. We are hopeful that members will embrace the change and take the most from this conference and papers lined up for discussion. Perhaps these changes, learned colleagues, my Lord, reflect in general sense how our profession is actually evolving. You will agree with me that coming to force of the Legal Education and Legal Practitioners Act 2017 has had great influence on all of us on how we have practiced the law. On the positive side of it, the new requirements under the Act are part of what has made the attendance increase. That's on the positive side. It has therefore made it possible that over 400 of us can converge here for these 4 days, not only to discuss matters of law, but also to meet up with old friends that would not normally meet. Who would expect that you'd have such a range of counsel, senior counsel, at the conference? That's wonderful. Come on, let's come back to ourselves. We have also already started rather to see the fruits of the stringent disciplinary mechanism under the Act. As we have observed this year, that the rate of complaints against our lawyers by clients has significantly reduced. Here's the positive as well. We also take pride in our public service measures that we are now able to deliver free legal services under the pro bono scheme, and in doing so, we believe we can truly take part in the access to justice to our people. No doubt these are positive changes we all desire to see in our beloved profession. Of course, the undesirable side of it is that the cost of practice has significantly increased due to a number of requirements to be met when people are renewing their licenses. We should, however, gracefully embrace these changes, because without changes, there is no positive story to report about. It is said that by changing nothing, nothing changes. And in the words of John F. Kennedy, change is the law of life. And those who look only to the past or the present are certain to miss the future. As a profession, we need to appreciate that these changes are here to stay. They are not going away. So let's embrace these changes. There is a lot of grumbling about the cost of renewal licenses, but they are part of our law. We can't do anything about it. My Lord, our distinguished guests, this event is a result of tireless efforts of so many members who started meeting many months ago to put things together. In particular, we recognize the events and planning committee led by one private quarter. The committee worked so hard to make sure that this event is a success. We also recognize the Research and Publications Committee headed by Dr. Gift Maganje. Apart from the major task of editing and scrutinizing the papers, this committee was also instrumental in systematically arranging the streaming program. Of course, I cannot resist the temptation to make a particular mention of Professor Ngei Kanyagoro, who is also a member of the research committee that I just mentioned. Where is she? Professor, we admire your humility for accepting to work in a subcommittee, just as a committee. She's accepted to work, and she's worked very hard to put things together. Thank you so much. Our team at the Secretariat, headed by Executive Director, with oversight of the Executive Committee, also worked very tireless, heading to today. We cannot forget to mention our interns from Chancellor College. They have been very helpful, and I must say, Professor, very professional. Thank you so much. My Lord, as you may have already seen in the press, Malawi Law Society is greatly honored this year to receive some sponsorship from National Bank of Malawi Prime Insurance Company, and my PACs. Malawi Law Society greatly appreciate this support, and I must say we are so proud to be associated with the big brands. National Bank is a big brand. We cherish the working relationship that Malawi Law Society has with its sponsors. Let me request that we put our hands together for our sponsors. I should also mention that there are a number of you who I may not have mentioned, who have worked so hard to put this function together. I would really like to thank all of you. But if there's any deficit in the execution of this event, blame it on us as executive committee. We have to take the charge. Our people did very well. So if there's any deficit, we apologize on their behalf. I should also thank the service providers. We have so many of them. But let me mention Sunbed Hotel. We truly appreciate your effort, Sunbed, and your effort to make our stay here comfortable. And all of you learning colleagues, we truly appreciate that you have made it to this conference. The annual general meeting offers many of us excuse to have some off duty to come and rest. We thank you very much for coming to this conference. If it was not for all of you, who would have not no conference. It's expensive to come here, but you have managed to come and pay expenses to come and accommodation, the session. Thank you so much for coming. Perhaps I should also especially welcome those that are attending this conference for the very first time. I know that apart from our guests from the United States, we also have many among us who have recently joined the bar and are members of Malawi Law Society. Welcome to Malawi Law Society. Let me announce that very soon we will be organizing a formal event to welcome our new members. We intend to create Young Lawyers Forum within the Framework Act. I will invite all young lawyers to be part of that forum. By young here, I don't mean age. I mean in terms of admission to the bar. So Mr. Chembago Banda will not join that committee. Of course, Mr. Padescon will not join that committee, even though you're young. I'm told that tomorrow the sports committee has organized some games in the afternoon after the AGM. It will be nice that all of us participate, but I will not ask or encourage Civil Council Chinoro. Don't go to DMI. Don't go to DMI. For a serious note, ladies, colleagues and gentlemen, ladies, colleagues, let's take part in these sports activities. They are part of uniting all of us. Let us keep the spirit. In closing, I wish all of you fruitful discussion in these 2 days, and may God bless you, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, our chairperson, Mr. Barton Muhango, for those welcome remarks. Lawyers, curiosity, and demand. We'll all be there. May I now invite the Honorable the Attorney General, Mr. Kalidin Kapali SC, to join us in welcoming our special guest from the US, the AGA, and for him to give us his speech, please. Join me in welcoming Honorable Kapali, please.
The President of the Malawi Law Society and your Executive Committee, all senior counsel present, and by name, these are Honorable Krishna Sarjani, Alan Chinola, Shabi Latif, Samuel Tembeni, Patrice Mkono. All their names end with SC. And I think it would be remiss of me if I also don't mention very senior colleagues that I've seen in the crowd. I will not start with John Makwawa, John Gage Makwawa. I'll start with Masao Sungama and then Alex Nampota. I have to recognize your presence, but of course John Makwawa. Mandana Mamplas as well. Thank you. And my long-time colleague, Professor Kenyongolo. Members of the Attorney General's Alliance, Africa, here present, and their representative, all the junior colleagues, let me just say beloved colleagues at the bar, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. This is to welcome you all to the annual general meeting of the Malawi Law Society 2020 edition. I must say at the outset that I've never been more nervous than I am now, because I had been promised that a speech would be written for me by the ESCO of the Law Society. So I drove all the way coming here, and in the waiting room, that's when I'm told, we didn't have time to prepare your speech. So whatever I say is off the top of my head, and you will forgive me if I don't say all what, as head of the bar, I was supposed to say. I note that the theme of this year's conference is contemporary issues in legal practice. The Law Society's annual general meetings are an occasion that we all look forward to. And this year's promises to be a special one, as we have a medley of topics to discuss under that theme. I'm sure coming from an election and very exciting litigation in the aftermath, we all failed to focus on one topic and hence settled on contemporary issues. The surprising thing is that nothing touches on the election. Maybe that's the safest thing that could have happened, and I thank the executive for avoiding that topic, at least for now. So we'll discuss wildlife protection, cryptocurrencies, law practice, cross-border crime, and things of that nature. I think that depicts clearly that much as we are in a state of flux as a people, as lawyers, we are ever focused on what matters most to us, which is the law. In that regard, I wish all participants a very successful annual general meeting. But before I go back to take my seat, there are two things that I need to mention. The first thing is to thank the executive committee for steering the Malawi Law Society this far in a changing environment. You all know that we have a new act governing our activities. The last time there was an executive committee that headed the Law Society in a situation like this was 1967, and I wasn't born at that time. So I have nothing to say about that, but looking at the literature, it appears they had about 5 years to settle down. But looks like this time around, we are settling down quickly. And thank you very much to the executive committee. Of course, let me mention that there are quite a number of issues that we need to sort out as executive committee, rules that we need to promulgate, as executive committee. Lots of questions that need to be asked, and some of which relate to the administration of the pro bono program. We get work from the Legal Aid Bureau of the Law Society, or lawyers can go hunt for pro bono work themselves. Those are some of the questions that need to be asked. Should senior counsel be required to undergo continuing legal education, or should they simply be required to impart legal education? I'm not taking them all out of the equation. Either they learn or they teach. What do we do going forward? Lots of things that we have to worry about, but so far, I believe, so good. Secondly, as head of the bar, I think I need to plead to the executive committee as they get into the second year of their term to mainstream the physical and mental well-being of lawyers. I'm saying this coming from practice. I know law is a challenging field, no matter where you're practicing it at. If you are employed in a law firm, there are fiscal targets you have to meet, and those stress you. There are high learning curves you have to manage, and those can be challenging. Long hours of work. And if you then decide to set up your own practice, you have staff to pay, VAT to remit, licenses to renew, etc. They take a toll on our physical as well as mental health, and some of us take refuge in all sorts of things, legal as well as illegal. I'm laughing, we are laughing, but I think on a serious note, we have lost friends to alcoholism, haven't we? To drug abuse, haven't we? To physical exhaustion, and so on and so forth. You know, I believe that it's high time we face the demon. It's high time we looked at the problem in the eye, and as a law society, we set up programs to manage our members, physical as well as mental health. And talking about physical health, on a few occasions we have had to see lawyers admitted at what do you call them? Township clinics, because they can't afford to go to a proper clinic because they didn't take medical insurance. We are taking fidelity cover for our practices. Why can't we take cover for our bodies as well and for our health? Those are some of the issues I think that we are one family. We have one goal to provide the best legal services out there. Yeah. We may think there are so many of us, but I believe we are not even a quarter of the number that the society needs to be out there. We need more lawyers. Those that are there must remain there. They shouldn't rush to go anywhere else for good. So, EXCO and all of us, I believe in the coming year, we need to take a long and hard look at that subject. That said, let me commend the Law Society executive committees, the committees of the Law Society rather, for the work that they have accomplished in the past year. I keep inquiring as to what's happening here, what's happening there, and I'm pleased to note that good progress has been made in all areas that the committees were tasked to undertake, but I believe there is also quite a bit of room for improvement. To the newly initiated, I would also like to welcome you to this conference. Just take the good things that we do. Observe the good things. Don't cover the bad ones. You know, especially when you see what you see, what we do when we are up there let's call it good habits. Now, at this moment, I would like to invite the representative for the for Africa, or Attorney General's Association Africa, to come forward and present the speech on behalf of the one that was supposed to be the keynote speaker. Thank you.
The President of the Malawi Law Society, Mr. Mangochi, and his entire executive committee, all former presidents of the Malawi Law Society, all presenters, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Greetings from the Attorney General Alliance, and sincere apologies from Mr. Marcus Green, who has not been able to be with us this morning. Unfortunately, he had some urgent requirements regarding AGA. I would like to acknowledge the following individuals and officers they represent. Honorable Justice John Katsala, Judge of the High Court. Thank you very much. Honorable the Attorney General, Honorable Kalekin Kapali, SC. Mr. Bahlu Mahango, President of the Malawi Law Society. Special recognition to Mr. Bahlu Mahango, President of the Malawi Law Society, and his office for their continued support in AGA-Africa objectives of fighting transnational crimes through providing capacity building programs in Malawi. And thank you very much for your kind compliment. It has been a clear honor to work with you and your team for this 2020 conference at AGM. I wish to thank the Attorney General of Malawi, Honorable Kalekin Kapali, and also thank the Honorable Justice John Katsala, Judge of the High Court, for being in the front line in the fight against transnational criminal activities in the country by ensuring that justice is served. I wish to introduce AGA-Africa facilitators, Mr. Sean Khan, Director, WITA, Mrs. Stephanie Kans, Deputy Director, WITA, and Ms. Daria Andrushenko, Assistant District Attorney, Manhattan District Attorney Office, who have flown all the way to volunteer and impact their experience and knowledge. Mr. and Mrs. Kans will take us through several sessions on wildlife trafficking, whereas Ms. Andrushenko will do human trafficking. We are truly grateful to have them here, as they're actually not paid to do this. A brief reflection on the state of wildlife and human trafficking in Malawi. Pangolin trafficking in 2019 topped wildlife crimes in Malawi, with at least 5 of the poached pangolin rescued and returned into the wilderness in the month of December alone, according to reports. According to the US State Department, Malawi is a source country for men, women, and children who are then subjected to forced labor and sex trafficking. The Malawi government continues to fight these crimes through the implementation of the Wildlife and National Parks Act that has stiffened criminal penalties for poachers and traffickers of listed species like rhinos and elephants. Under this act, convicted offenders face extended prison sentences of up to 30 years, and also through the passing of the anti-trafficking legislation, which prohibits all forms of trafficking and prescribes punishment of 14 years to life imprisonment with no options of fines. In this respect, global collaboration in fighting transnational criminal activities through developing effective capacity building programs is crucial, as no country can successfully combat these menace alone. A little bit of insight on who is actually AGA. AGA is a bipartisan group. AGA-Africa is in 8 African countries. The AGA-Africa collaborates with government, non-government, private sector, and civil society to provide legal training and strengthen the international rule of law specific to each country's needs. As some of you are already aware, the Attorney General Alliance Africa was formerly known as the Conference of Western Attorney General Alliance Africa Alliance Partnership, CWAC-AAP. The change of name came about as a result of the formation of the Attorney General Alliance from our parent organization, the Conference of Western Attorney Generals, a testament to the expanded reach across the United States and internationally. The name Attorney General Alliance, AGA, represents an association of attorney generals, federal, state, and foreign officials, and public and private sector partners throughout the United States. As CWAC continues to focus predominantly on core Western issues, AGA will take on emerging issues in the West and beyond. As the CWAC-AAP program transitions to AGA-Africa, our focus on combating transnational crimes on the continent remains unwavering. We look forward to working with more attorney generals around the world in protecting the victims and promoting the rule of law. What has AGA really done in Malawi so far? Malawi joined the AGA family in October 2017. The first symposium actually took place in December 2017, and it served as a platform for discussion of the Trafficking in Persons Act that had just been enacted then, well, at least a year or so. This was then the Ministry of Home Affairs, with the Ministry of Home Affairs, currently the Ministry of Homeland Securities, and the Malawi Network Against Trafficking in Persons, MNET. AGA has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, the Ministry of Homeland Securities, and the Malawi Law Society, hence our presence this morning. We have collaborated with the Department of National Parks and Wildlife and the Anti-Corruption Bureau to host a 2-day workshop on anti-wildlife trafficking in 2018. The workshop was followed by a 5-day workshop at Kasuku in 2019. In May 2019, AGA, in collaboration with the Wildlife Investigating Training Alliance, PETA, donated wildlife equipment, enforcement equipment to the Department of National Parks and Wildlife. And we've had very good feedback from that donation. We've also trained trainers in law enforcement agencies on trafficking in persons in collaboration with the Ministry of Homeland Security and MNET. In March of 2019, AGA hosted a 2-day workshop on anti-money laundering in collaboration with the Financial Intelligence Authority. This was followed by another 2-day workshop on trade-based money laundering in September of 2019. So AGA basically is here in Malawi to stay. So what is it that AGA is looking at in 2020? We honored, first and foremost, being part of this 2020 Malawi Law Society AGM conference. In 2020, AGA is poised to participate in another 4-day training with Financial Intelligence Authority on combating financing of terrorism and weapons of mass destruction. We will conduct another 5-day workshop with the wildlife trafficking in collaboration with the Department of National Parks and Wildlife in the Mondi National Park. 2020, we also see AGA-Africa partnering with other sponsors and stakeholders, both existing and new, to actually strengthen and deepen the fight against transnational crimes while extending our footprint. We will continue to build capacity and explore ways we can impact more law enforcement agencies and engender the necessary law reforms in Malawi. We look forward to more collaborations in the near future with Malawi Law Society. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, our rep,
picked Kipapa. And thank you very much, Attorney General, Kapali, SC, for the speech. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my singular honor to invite the keynote speaker in our place of honor, Justice Katsala, Judge President of the High Court Commercial Division. Please join me in welcoming Judge Katsala, please.
Mr. President and your Executive Committee, the Honorable Attorney General, Senior Counsel present, representative from the Attorney General Africa Alliance, all distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am very humbled this morning to be invited to be the guest of honor at this conference. It gives me pleasure to be part of this great gathering. I'm very grateful, and I want to assure you, Mr. President, that I don't take it for granted. For me, this is some kind of homecoming. I've come back to where I belong. Some of you may know that at the time of my appointment as a High Court judge in March 2003, I had just completed my term as president of the Malawi Law Society. Since then, I've never been to a Malawi Law Society gathering. So I missed you, ladies and gentlemen. I was looking at myself in the mirror this morning, and I saw too many gray hair on my head. My beautiful beard has disappeared, it has turned gray. And when I walked in here, I looked at the senior counsel sitting in front, looking at Shabil Latif. I knew him when all his hair was black. But now look at him. I'm not sure if the Honorable Samuel Tombenu is not dyeing his hair. But for sure, I know Patrice Ngono SC is suffering the same predicament that I am in. Too much gray hair on our heads. Senior Counsel Krishna Sabijani is our senior, and he looks it that he is senior. And of course, I see Masaugo Tsungama. And I ask myself, if he were to allow his hair to grow, how would it look like? Would it not be worse than mine? And then I see Alexius Naboda there, and I'm asking myself, surely he must be dyeing his hair. Mr. President, I like the theme for the conference, Contemporary Issues in Legal Practice. Indeed, legal practice is evolving every day. What may have been the in thing when I joined the legal profession as a young lawyer may not be the in thing today. I remember when I joined the legal profession, we had manual typewriters in the law offices. Then we moved to electronic typewriters. And then we had the computers, Pentium 1, 2,
2, 3, 4, whatever it meant, but it was there. Then we saw the flat screened computers, laptops. Now we are talking about tablets and even phones on which you are able to draft documents. The world is changing, life is changing, and surely legal practice too is changing, and it must change. It can't remain constant. The program for the conference outlines many topics, most of which wouldn't have thought about 31 years when I joined the legal profession. It is therefore necessary, Mr. President, and I agree with you, that time and again you need to convene and discuss the contemporary issues in legal practice. As you deliberate these contemporary legal issues, I want to pose a few questions to the members present and to the whole legal profession in Malawi. I see that the profession is growing very fast, which is a good thing. I see there are many young lawyers who are venturing into sole proprietorships, and it is a good thing. They are creating jobs. But then I ask myself, are we able to police them? I remember many years ago, Justice Duncan Tamba retired, as he then was. He said, young lawyers are a hazard to the society. And you may recall, those of you who were there, that as a law society we took issue with him, and we made the judge to apologize for his comments. Though deep down our hearts, I'm sure each one of us agreed with the judge that a young lawyer unleashed on the public to do as he deemed fit and proper may be a hazard. Can I warn you, Mr. President, in case you ask me to apologize, I will not apologize. So this morning I want to ask a few questions, because I see that there are some little things which are losing their foothold in the legal profession. I want to ask ourselves the question, where is the legal profession leading to or heading to? Are we doing enough to keep the legal profession in its rails, or has it derailed and no one seems to care at all? Mr. President, you've rightly said that I've commented in some of my judgments about the conduct of counsel. It's because I still have the hangover of being a member of the Law Society and how much we valued professionalism in those days. I wish we could continue to value professionalism within the legal profession, because it is a profession. We cannot allow to do things that are against the etiquette, the ethics of the profession. So I do take it upon myself to make some pronouncements, and I have even got to the extent of sending counsel back from my court to go back to their house, dress properly, and then come to the court. I have titled my remarks, "Where is that lawyer? Where is that lawyer?" Already you can tell that the remarks will sound like the lamentations of the bereaved family. So I will speak on behalf of all those lawyers who feel that we are missing something. The program gives me 20 minutes. For once, I have to accept that I'm not calling the shots. Someone else is limiting the time for my submissions. Probably it's deliberate. They wanted me to feel the pain of being restricted on what to say. Mr. President, I'm feeling the pain, but as always, it is within my discretion whether to comply or not. And if you make issues with me, remember I'm a court wherever I am. I can charge you with contempt. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I ask myself, where is that lawyer with the competence to handle cases in a manner that would leave the judge filled with amazement and praise? That lawyer, because of his preparedness, whenever he's to appear before the judge actually looks forward to going into the courtroom. It is very common these days that you have counsel who you can clearly tell they are not prepared for the task before them. And sometimes they can't even isolate issues and concentrate on those issues. As a result, what you see, counsel will make arguments that wander from Burundi to South Africa, from Sanje to Karonga and back, in the hope that the judge is intelligent enough to pick out whatever good points he has made. They end up making common sense or social arguments, if you like, instead of making legal arguments. And you ask yourself, where have we gone wrong? I'm pleased, Mr. President, that you have paraded senior counsel here in front. And I'm asking you, senior counsel, do you mentor these lawyers? Do you mentor these lawyers? Do you train them on court business? Because they are trained in the law school to be lawyers, but it is you who must train them to be professionals. And you ask yourself sometimes, where is the seriousness that is expected of a lawyer? For example, I've had lawyers who come to my court and they say, Your Lordship, we seek an adjournment because the process server, our process server, didn't serve the notice of hearing for today's appointment. And I ask myself, who is the legal practitioner? Is it the process server or it is this guy in front of me? Should a lawyer really come to court and say, we didn't say, my process server didn't do his job, so I am unable to do my job. For me, it is the duty of council to make sure that process is saved. I remember recently, a few weeks ago, I was telling a certain lady lawyer that, look, I'm tired of this excuse. She was saying the process server at her office did not save the summons because he was sick. Now, some months before, a colleague from her office came to my court and said, Judge, we didn't save the notice because the process server was involved in an accident. So I was telling this young lady, the second one, that look, go and you and your colleague, please get this clear. I am sick and tired of this process server excuse. I don't want to hear it again. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to say is court space is proving to be difficult. It is becoming extremely difficult to accommodate all the cases that we have in our courtrooms. So we need to be serious in the way we are conducting our business, so that we must utilize the time efficiently. When I do the 20 minutes, please let me know. I need to know to what extent I'm going to defy you. Mr. President, at the times I ask myself, where is that lawyer who can keep their word? The lawyer whom you can trust. A lawyer who says, I'll do this and they'll do it. I remember during my days as a legal practitioner, we had a senior lawyer, not a senior counsel, but a senior lawyer, whom you trusted at your own risk. I've tried to look around, I don't see him. But I would still have said what I'm going to say, even if he were here. You would meet outside the registrar's office, you have a chamber application with him, and he would say, Counsel, I have another application before a judge at the same time, 8:30. So I'm going to attend to the application before the judge, and I don't want to keep you waiting because the application before the judge is going to take long. So what I'll do is you go, we are going to adjourn. I will adjourn after I have done my application before the judge. I will tell the registrar that you were here, but I was tied up, so we adjourn. And you believe him, and you leave the court premises. Sadly, the moment you leave, he would appear before the registrar and tell him that, look, we sent the notice of hearing for today's appointment, counsel is not here, I pray that we proceed with the application. Very sad. Very sad. And what is even more saddening is the fact that that senior lawyer has got many offsprings in him. Because I'm told that even today, there are many lawyers who are doing the same thing. Senior counsel, how have we trained these lawyers that we are recruiting into the profession on a yearly basis? Attorney General, you said they must look at the good things that we do, but you know young ones, when they want to learn, they will learn the bad things faster than the good ones, isn't it? You know, it's like kids in a family when they are born. You may have a very beautiful wife, and the husband is as ugly as I am. You know, the girls who take after the ugly dad. And you ask yourself, what is it about? So, don't tell the young lawyers that they should learn just the good things, because that is not what life is like. Let's just agree that as senior lawyers, as professionals, we are going to do the good things all the time. Before I leave that point, let me also share with you the experience that I had with another lawyer who was senior to me. He entered a default judgment against my client, and when it came to my notice, I contacted him to say, counsel, I see you have entered a default judgment. Can we set it aside because my client has got a good defense? Can we do it by consent? And he said, no, I can't agree to consent because I will not be able to explain to my client why I'm agreeing with the setting aside. But take out an application before the registrar, and I give you my word, I will not execute and I will not object to the application to set aside the judgment. I said, okay, fine, I will do that. A day or two later, my client called me to say they've been visited by the sheriff executing the judgment. And I called counsel to say, what is it? What has happened to our agreement? And he said, no, my client pressurized me into executing. And I said, where is that lawyer who can say something and you can trust them, knowing that they will stick to their word? We miss such lawyers. Can we all agree that we should be lawyers who are trustworthy, lawyers of integrity, lawyers who are honest? Because mind you, trust is conferred, and trust is fragile. It needs to be handled with care. If not, it will slip away, it will break, and it is very difficult to earn trust once you've lost people's trust. I'm trying to stick within the 20 minutes. I ask myself, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, where is that lawyer who has respect for clients' funds? That lawyer who pays out clients' money as soon as it is received or collected. That lawyer who does not invest clients' money in treasury bills and tells the client that they haven't collected the money, they are still waiting for payment. And yet, they collected the money and it is in treasury bills. And the interest earned there is not even passed on to the client. Where is that lawyer who, after receiving the damages from the insurance company for personal injuries, will pay out to the client immediately and will not invest that money in his caterpillar business? I'm asking, where is that client who knows that the interests of the client are paramount? I'll share with you, and I shared this experience with the President and the Vice last evening. I went to Lilongwe to play golf the other time. And a good friend of mine came to me and said, Judge, you know, that man over there was telling me the other day that he has a case before you and that he's waiting for the judgment. You haven't delivered the judgment. And I said, no. I delivered that judgment 5 years ago. And mind you, it was a judgment against a bank, and for a substantial amount. And it was clear that the bank must have paid. Otherwise, I would have seen a warrant of execution filed. But this lawyer was telling the client that we are waiting for the judge to deliver his judgment. And 5 years down the line, he was still waiting for the judge to deliver the judgment. And yet, I had delivered the judgment in 2011, and that was 2016 when I was being asked. And I asked the same question, where is that lawyer? Who would know that this is not my money, it is my client's money. I need to pay out to the client. For sure, I asked myself where that lawyer would be honest and truthful with their client. You know, who would tell their client, say, I've listened to your case, I know the law, I've done my research, you have no case. Let's not go to court. Lately, I've seen that there are so many lawyers who bring cases to court, hopeless cases. And where the law is very clear. And you ask yourself, what is it that they're trying to do? Do they think that the court can decide in the client's favor? And you ask yourself, is this not obtaining money by false pretenses? Because they are presenting to their clients that the client has got a good case. When they go to court, they are going to win. And yet, they know that they have a bad case, a hopeless case. The law is not on their side. Mr. Attorney General, sir, is it not time that we started prosecuting these lawyers for these offenses? Madam DPP, I've seen you, I recognize you, I've just given you work, and that is an order. And mind you, Justice Kajali cannot set this order aside. Lastly, but not the least, let me say what I said to the President last evening, that I've come to notice that many lawyers, they come to court to defend their clients and not to represent the client. And you know, when you are defending, you are like a soldier who is defending his country. He puts up his own life on the line. He's prepared to die for his client. For his country. So if you as a lawyer, you come to defend your client, you put up your professional career on the line for the sake of your client. That's why some of you are going to the extent of committing offenses, of forgeries, of fraud, etc. You are even creating evidence because you want to help your client's case. No. Don't defend your client, but represent your client. Ladies and gentlemen, the 20 minutes time doesn't permit me to talk about the sudden proliferation of shabbiness among male lawyers. I don't know where it is coming from. Maybe I'm not endowed with that gift, but suddenly every lawyer wants to keep a long beard. You walk into a courtroom, you look around, you look at the people sitting at the bar, you said, maybe there has been a transposition. The lawyers are those who are sitting behind on the bar. The clients are looking smarter than the lawyers. And you begin to ask yourself, what has become of the legal profession? And indeed, ladies, in a special way, I know you love bright colors, flowery colors, but reserve those for the bridal showers and whatever. I spent weeks at the Royal Courts of Justice in London and studying the commercial court there. And one thing that I noticed every day that I was there, the lawyers, all of them, dressed in black and white. Those who dressed in light color, the lightest color was charcoal gray. And I said, wow, these people are proud of the legal profession. But you come to my court, you find lawyers who are dressed in suits like modern day prophets and bishops. It is my plea, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. President, that let us endeavor to promote professionalism amongst ourselves for the benefit of ourselves, for the benefit of the profession itself, and for the benefit of the people that we serve. Mr. President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with these few remarks, it's my singular honor and privilege this morning to declare the Malawi Law Society 2020 conference officially open. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Honorable Judge, Justice John Kansala, President Judge of the High Court, Commercial Division, former President of the Malawi Law Society. Another round of applause, please. I can vouch for the judge that he was indeed President of the Malawi Law Society because I served as his Vice President. And I cannot forget the election in that year because I lost the election with 1 vote. And the Electoral Commission was manned by the Honorable Attorney General and one colleague, Ralph Kasamba. I'll leave it there. Thank you Hugo Soto, we have a case before us, maybe in future. All right, where is that lawyer? I think that's the question that the judge has left with us. Is it the lawyer sitting next to you? Look at them. Where is that lawyer? Is it the lawyer behind you? Our hope is that by the time we finish this conference, we go into the AGM, we will have reflected on this question. And we'll keep reflecting on this question for the rest of the year, and come back next year to the AGM and account for what we have done in the year. Thank you very much, Honorable Judge, for reminding us about professionalism, about mentorship, and all the important issues that you've raised. Before we close the opening session, let me apologize to the Attorney General. Indeed, we were supposed to have done a speech. Somebody will account for that, I'm sure. But then, there are Attorney Generals and there are Attorney Generals. There are Attorney Generals with distinction. And when one Kalegen Kapale speaks, I think you didn't know that he didn't have a speech, would you? If he hadn't mentioned it, you wouldn't have known. So apologies, but we thank you very much for rising to the occasion, as always, in delivering that beautiful speech to us. We have special gifts, one to our guests from the US, and another to the guest of honor, the judge. May I request the organizing team to bring us first the gift to the AGA, which will be received by our special representative, Chipapa. May I ask, in a special way, and request the Attorney General to please give the gift to our guests. So on behalf, all right, may you please come down? So on behalf of the Malawi Law Society and the Office of the Attorney General in Malawi, we say in a special way, thank you very much for the partnership. Thank you very much for organizing this conference with us. And thank you very much to our colleagues from the US. Please pass on our appreciation to Mr. Marcus Green for the kind offer and gesture of being here, sending the team here, and also organizing the conference with us. Thank you very much. May I also ask the Malawi Law Society representative to bring a gift for our guest of honor. We will request our chairperson, Mr. Patron Muhango, to please come forward and present the gift to the President Judge. We know that you have a busy schedule, but within that busy schedule, you were kind enough to come and grace this occasion. We do not take that for granted. The Malawi Law Society and its members are most grateful for your presence and your spirit. Thank you very much. We will finish with a few announcements. One, EU 1403, you've left your lights on. EU 1403, please go check on your car. Number two, as we finish, we'll have a group photo, and the photo will be taken at the beach. Number three, the biometric registration resumes soon after this session, and it will continue for the whole day. biometric registration. We are up in the game, ladies and gentlemen. A big hand for the Malawi Law Society, please. The guest of honor, Justice Katsala, Judge President of the High Court of Malawi Commercial Division, the President, Chairperson of the Malawi Law Society, Mr. Barton Muhango, the Honorable, the Attorney General, Mr. Kaleke Kapare, SC, our special guest from the AGA, Ms. Gibbs Chikwapa, senior counsels, ladies and gentlemen, this marks the end of the opening session. May we request that the high table please leave join us in the group photo. You may please go first.